Let's talk about the 5 best tips I can give you to get your waves and curls to stick around a little bit longer. Hey there guys, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the channel, welcome back if you've been here before. If you're brand new, what we normally do here on this channel is talk all things wavy curly hair. I have taken tips and tricks from the Curly Girl method to improve the health of my hair. This is what my hair looked like when I started, and this is, after doing it for nearly 4 years. It's a little bit healthier. Now, I do want to mention that I am currently 8 months pregnant, and the hormones of this pregnancy have really stretched out my waves and curls. So I have actually been heavily relying on these 5 tips to try and encourage my waves and curls to stick around for as long as possible. Many of you guys have asked me this question. Courtney, I apply all my products, I diffuse, everything looks really nice in the cast. I've got good shrinkage and all the things. I scrunch out the crunch. My hair looks good for about 30 minutes and then it just stretches out. And all that wash day work seems to be for nothing because your hair basically goes from really nice wavy curly to nearly straight. I feel you. I understand this plight quite a lot. And there are some contributing factors to this. For the sake of this video, I am assuming that you are doing a few things. First off, I am assuming that you are diffusing your hair, because if you air dry your hair, of course your curls are going to be more elongated due to the weight of the water kind of stretching them out. So I'm assuming you've diffused your hair. I'm assuming that your hair is 100% dry when you scrunch out the crunch, because if your hair is even a little bit, teensy bit damp when you scrunch out the crunch, yeah, things will stretch out and elongate very quickly. It just happens. So we're assuming those 2 things, that you're diffusing your hair and that you have waited like a good wavy curly girl to scrunch out the crunch until your hair is 100% dry. If you're doing those 2 things and your hair is still just stretching out within a matter of hours, here are my tips for that. There are some things you can do. Number 1, you can cast blast. This term was coined by a friend of mine on Instagram many years ago. She talked about using multiple gels and getting a rocking cast on wash day in order to give her waves and curls the structure they needed in order to stick around for longer. My personal favorite way to cast blast is to make sure I'm layering my products. I enjoy layering something along the lines of a custard or curl enhancer, like the Kinky Curly Curling Custard, maybe the Mop Top Custard, maybe the Anasi Custard, underneath a harder hold gel, something like the Chi Infra Gel, the Giovanni LA Naturals Gel, or the new Shine Gel from Curlsmith. Pairing the 2 together creates a cast blast type situation in my hair. Really helps my hair form a nice crunchy cast. You could also try the 1, 2, 3 gel technique, where you layer 3 gels on top of each other. Lighter hold, medium hold, hard hold gels, boom, 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 all back to back to back in your hair. Some people like to mix them in their hands. Some people like to apply the light hold gel, then apply the medium hold gel, then apply the hard hold gel. I have only played around with 1, 2, 3 gel a couple of times, but That's a way to cast blast right there. Another way to cast blast your hair is to try an application technique called gel plop mousse, wherein you apply your gel on soaking wet hair. You plop your hair, remove some of the water, and then apply a foam or a mousse before you diffuse on more dampish hair. This is a way to bump up the hold of a foam or mousse. And again, you're layering the two products together, which will really create the ideal situation for a cast in your hair. The last thing that I can think of to cast blast your hair is to apply a curly hair friendly hairspray right after you have plopped and right before you diffuse your hair. Some of my favorite curly hair friendly hairsprays are the Bounce Curl hairspray. I believe Pantene makes a very nice CG friendly hairspray, and the Evolve hairspray. All three of these are sulfate, silicone, and drying alcohol free and add just a little bit more hold and a little bit more grit to the hair, which can help keep your curls from elongating and stretching out within minutes. The second tip that you can do in order to increase your wash day longevity, to encourage your waves and curls not to fall, is to sleep in the cast. This technique is hit or miss for me, if I'm being real honest, but mostly due to user error. In order for sleeping in the cast to work, your hair has to be 100% dry when your head hits the pillow. If it's at all damp, laying down on that pillow is going to create some wonkiness in your curls. It's just gonna happen. And I've tried it on and off for years now, and about 50% of the time, I go to sleep with slightly damp hair. That's a recipe for weird wash days. But the other 50% of the time, I wake up, scrunch out the crunch, and have a glorious hair day. The premise behind this tip is that the longer your hair is in the gel cast, the better your curl memory will be for that wash day, the longer your waves and curls have been supported by the structure of the crunchy gel cast, the better the wash day longevity is gonna be. This principle also works really well if you do it on a wash day. Let's say you wash your hair in the morning and you just choose not to scrunch out the crunch on wash day. Your hair has been in the cast all day long. This will help those waves and curls from stretching out as fast. Most people's hair doesn't look as cute as we would like in the cast, so it works better to wash and style at night, get your hair 100% dry, leave your hair in the cast, gently put it up in a pineapple. Maybe you don't even put in a pineapple. Maybe you just use a silk scrunchie to kind of collect all the hair at the top of your head, but you don't like double wrap the scrunchie at all. And you lay your hair back on your pillow. Some people let their hair be in the cast and they just drape their hair over their silk pillowcase, and that works just fine. But sleeping in the cast is another tip or trick for really locking in those waves and curls. Tip number 3, don't over moisturize your hair. It is so hard to do, especially when you have finer, wavier hair. These just seem to become over moisturized so easily and so quickly. Why is that? Well, because the majority of the products that are curly hair friendly, sulfate, silicone, and drying alcohol free, are very moisturizing. Once you take out all of those other ingredients, the ingredients that are left to you are more moisturizing. So when there is too much moisture in the hair will be heavy, the hair will be weighed down. You will be a soggy, wilted, overwatered flower, and your waves and curls will just droop droop and look sad. Ways to avoid over moisturizing your hair are to really focus on balancing protein and moisture in your hair. I know that this is a concept that is talked about all the time and can be a little bit confusing. I have actually created an online course if you want to check it out. It's in the description box down below that breaks down this subject into small bite-sized pieces, explains every minutia of the details of protein moisture balance. It's just meant to be a helpful resource for you there if you're interested. But one thing you can do to stop over moisturizing your hair and elongating your waves and curls is to use a lighter weight conditioner. Look for something that speaks about volume. Get the volume conditioner for wavy curly hair that is curly hair friendly, and use a leave-in conditioner instead of a curl cream. If you've been reaching for a curl cream and your wash days have just been stretching out like crazy, curl creams inherently are more nourishing and moisturizing and can potentially weigh down and over moisturize the hair. Sub that out for a leave-in conditioner. Tip number 4 for prolonging your wash days is to take a long, hard look at your haircut. A haircut could be really affecting your wash day longevity. I currently don't have quite enough layers in my hair, and there's not as much distance between the layers in my hair to create an optimal environment for curl retention for me. I personally have to go to kind of extremes with layering due to the nature of my hair. My hair, while being fine and wavy, also is heavy. It just is. My hair is heavy. So the more layers I have in it, the less the weight of my hair will weigh down and stretch out my wash days. So consider perhaps getting a few more layers added to your hair. These do have to be added carefully, and you do need to be working with a hairstylist that you love and trust a bunch. But layers have been a key for me in extending my wash days. And my last tip for helping your waves and curls to stick around a little bit longer is to scrunch out the crunch with a hair oil. I know that this seems counterintuitive because I did talk about not over moisturizing the hair, but I have found that an oil helps block humidity from coming into the hair and potentially stretching out and elongating the hair and or creating like the crazy poofy frizz. It also helps seal each of the curl clumps together. It kind of helps keep the curl clumps intact so that they can support each other and lend each other, I don't know, moral support throughout the day. I find that when my curl clumps break up and my hair gets stringier, the more elongated and stretched out it will look. Scrunching out the crunch with an oil does help mitigate that a little bit. All right, guys, that is it for my 5 tips to keep your curls sticking around a little bit longer. You'll notice that I left out sleep protection, which is like an obvious help in prolonging a wash day past day 1 to day 2 and day 3. You know, we kind of don't want to wash our hair every day because it's a lot of work to do the wavy curly hair thing. The reason I left that out is because this video is meant to specifically address the question of wash, style, diffuse, scrunch out the crunch, 30 minutes later, the hair stretches out. That's why we left out sleep protection. Also, it's very important to keep in mind that it is 100% normal for looser curl types to slowly elongate until the next wash day. This is just the nature of wavy hair. You can do things like refresh your hair, but wavy hair just stretches out until the next wash day, and that's okay. because that's just what it does. There will be some stretching even if you use all 5 of these tips. It does help. It does help the waves and curls stick around for a little bit longer, but there will always be some elongation of the waves and curls. The last thing that I do want to mention is that if you just started this process, you are on your first week of styling your waves and curls, of tiptoeing into this thing called the curly girl method, and you're scrunching out the crunch and your hair is going straight very quickly, it is possible that this for you is due to your hair being in transition and not having its curl memory back yet. Yes, your hair really does have a memory. It will literally remember the years of heat styling that you did to it previously. You spent all that time working to get it so straight, and now you're scrunching it. As soon as you scrunch out the crunch, the gel cast is gone. There's no longer that really crunchy exterior support to the curl clump. It's gonna remember that it's supposed to be straight, and it will go straight. Exhibit A, this is what I'm talking about. You see how my roots are rather wavy curly, but towards the tips of my hair, it's like straight. That is my hair in transition and a lack of curl memory. Fortunately, the solution to this is very simple and very easy. It's time. Over time, your hair's curl memory will come back and the stringy end issue will be resolved. You can also consider chopping those off, which is what I did. I chopped mine off completely, but I still had to work towards curl memory for my hair. But it was helpful to chop off those ends. All right, guys, I sure hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hang out, I just threw my phone. And if you want to hang out some more with me, feel free to subscribe and click that notification bell. I would love to chit chat all things wavy curly hair with y'all. My goal is to be as helpful as humanly possible here on the YouTubes. So if you need something, let me know in the comments down below and I'll do my best to help. As always, I hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.